Most people believe that strength means reacting quickly, speaking loudly, and defending themselves against every challenge life throws at them. The world around us constantly tells us to fight harder, move faster, and push relentlessly toward our goals. Success, we are told, belongs only to those who force life into submission through sheer willpower. But what if this idea is deeply misunderstood? What if the greatest form of strength is not found in constant struggle, but in mastering the quiet power of the mind? If you're ready to build a mind that nothing in this world can break, take a moment right now to subscribe to this channel. This space is dedicated to ancient wisdom, powerful philosophy, and practical lessons that help you become mentally stronger every single day. And before we begin, write this in the comments to set your intention. My mind is stronger than my circumstances. Let this be the moment you decide to train your mind like the Stoics did. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius sat alone at night, writing private reflections that were never meant to be published. Despite commanding the most powerful empire on earth, he often reminded himself that real power had nothing to do with armies, wealth, or status. Real power, he believed, was the ability to remain calm when the world around you was chaotic. While the Roman Empire faced wars, disease, betrayal, and political instability, Marcus Aurelius practiced something remarkable. Instead of allowing events to control his emotions, he trained his mind to respond with clarity and discipline. These reflections later became known as meditations, one of the most influential philosophical works ever written. The Stoics believed that the greatest victory a human being could achieve was not over other people, but over their own reactions. They understood that most suffering does not come from events themselves, but from the way we interpret them. When we learn to control that interpretation, we gain a kind of strength that no external force can take away. Think about how easily the modern world pulls our attention in different directions. A notification appears on your phone and your mood instantly shifts. A single criticism from a colleague can replay in your mind for hours. One unexpected problem can turn an otherwise peaceful day into a storm of anxiety. Most people live in this constant cycle of reaction without ever questioning it. But the Stoics asked a powerful question. What if your peace of mind did not depend on what happens around you? What if your inner state was something you could train and strengthen like a muscle? Today, we will explore 10 Stoic principles that can transform the way you approach life, pressure, success, and adversity. These ideas are not abstract philosophy meant only for scholars. They are practical tools designed to help ordinary people develop extraordinary mental resilience. Each principle builds a stronger mind, one that cannot be easily shaken by fear, stress, or external judgment. When you understand these principles, you begin to realize that many of the things that once controlled you lose their power completely. The first Stoic principle is the discipline of perception. Every event in life arrives without meaning. Meaning is something we assign to it. When something unexpected happens, the mind immediately begins creating a story about what that event represents. If you lose an opportunity, the mind may say that you have failed. If someone criticizes you, the mind may say you are being attacked. These interpretations feel automatic, but they are actually choices. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus explained this idea clearly when he wrote that people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of things. The event itself may be neutral, yet our interpretation transforms it into something painful or threatening. Imagine two people facing the exact same obstacle. One person immediately assumes that the situation is unfair and begins to feel frustrated. The other person views the same situation as an opportunity to grow stronger or learn something valuable. The external event is identical, yet the experience of the two individuals is completely different. Training your perception means learning to pause before assigning meaning to events. Instead of instantly reacting, you ask yourself a different question. Is this situation truly harmful, or is my interpretation creating unnecessary suffering? This small shift in awareness gives you control over your reactions. Instead of being pulled by emotional impulses, you begin responding with deliberate thought. Over time, this discipline becomes one of the most powerful forms of mental strength. The second Stoic principle is understanding what you can control. Much of human anxiety comes from trying to control things that are simply outside our influence. We worry about the opinions of others, about unpredictable outcomes, and about circumstances that depend on countless variables beyond our reach. The Stoics divided life into two categories. There are things within your control, such as your thoughts, actions, and intentions, and there are things outside your control, such as the behavior of other people, the past, and most external events. When people confuse these two categories, they create endless frustration. They attempt to control what cannot be controlled while neglecting the only domain where real power exists. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that external events are neither good nor bad in themselves. What matters is the way you choose to respond to them. When you focus your energy on your own actions rather than external outcomes, you reclaim a tremendous amount of mental freedom. This principle is not about ignoring challenges or becoming passive. It is about directing your effort where it can actually make a difference. Instead of worrying about whether others will approve of your choices, you focus on making choices that align with your values. The third principle is voluntary discomfort. Modern life encourages comfort at every opportunity. Technology, convenience, and entertainment are designed to remove friction from our daily routines. While comfort has its advantages, the Stoics believed that too much comfort weakens the mind. They practiced voluntary discomfort as a way to strengthen their resilience. This could involve fasting for short periods, sleeping on simple bedding, or exposing themselves to challenging conditions. The purpose was not self-punishment, it was training. When you deliberately experience small difficulties, you reduce your fear of larger ones. You learn that discomfort is temporary and manageable. This training builds confidence because you realize that your well-being does not depend on perfect circumstances. Seneca, another influential Stoic philosopher, often practiced living with minimal possessions for several days at a time. During those periods, he would ask himself whether this was truly the condition he feared so much. By confronting discomfort directly, he discovered that many of the things people worry about are far less frightening than imagined. The fourth principle is emotional discipline. Emotions are powerful signals, but they are not reliable guides for decision-making. Anger, fear, and anxiety often appear suddenly and demand immediate reaction. If you follow these impulses without reflection, they can lead to choices that create regret later. Stoicism does not teach people to suppress their emotions completely. Instead, it teaches them to observe emotions without becoming controlled by them. When an emotion arises, the Stoic response is to pause and examine it. Why is this emotion appearing? What belief is producing it? Is the emotion helping you respond wisely, or is it pushing you toward a reaction that may cause harm? This process of examination allows emotions to pass without dominating your actions. Over time, you become less reactive and more composed, even in situations that once triggered strong responses. If this idea resonates with you, write this in the comments. I control my reactions. When you write something like this, you are not just commenting. You are reminding your own mind who is in charge. The fifth principle is the power of acceptance. Many people waste enormous energy resisting reality. They argue internally with events that have already happened. They replay past mistakes or imagine how things should have unfolded differently. The Stoics believed that resistance to reality creates unnecessary suffering. Acceptance does not mean approval of every situation. It means recognizing what has already occurred and choosing the best possible response moving forward. Marcus Aurelius often described obstacles as opportunities. When something blocks your path, the obstacle itself can become the path to growth. Challenges force you to develop new skills, new strategies, and greater resilience. When you accept reality instead of fighting it, you conserve energy for meaningful action. Instead of dwelling on what cannot be changed, you begin focusing on what can still be improved. The sixth principle is living in the present moment. The mind constantly drifts between past regrets and future worries. We replay conversations that have already ended or imagine problems that have not yet occurred. While this mental activity feels productive, it often creates stress without producing solutions. The Stoics believed that the present moment is the only place where action is possible. The past cannot be changed, and the future cannot be controlled directly, but the present moment offers the ability to make decisions that influence what comes next. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself to confine his attention to the present task. When you focus fully on what you are doing right now, the mind becomes calmer and more effective. Problems that once felt overwhelming become manageable because you approach them one step at a time. The seventh principle is self-examination. Stoics believed that personal growth requires honest reflection. At the end of each day, many Stoic practitioners reviewed their actions and thoughts. They asked themselves where they had acted wisely and where they had allowed emotion or distraction to interfere. This process was not about harsh self-criticism. It was about learning. By observing patterns in your behavior, you begin to understand what triggers certain reactions and how you can respond more effectively in the future. Consistent self-examination builds awareness, and awareness creates the possibility of change. The eighth principle is gratitude. Although Stoicism is often associated with discipline and resilience, gratitude played an essential role in the philosophy. Stoics believed that appreciating what you already have creates a sense of abundance that protects the mind from constant dissatisfaction. When people focus only on what is missing, they create a permanent feeling of lack. But when they recognize the value of what already exists in their lives, their perspective shifts. Gratitude does not require ignoring challenges. It simply means acknowledging that even difficult lives contain moments of beauty, connection, and opportunity. The ninth principle is authenticity. Many people shape their behavior based on the expectations of others. They pursue goals that society praises rather than goals that align with their true values. Over time, this creates a sense of disconnection from oneself. The Stoics believed that a meaningful life requires authenticity. This means making choices that reflect your genuine beliefs rather than external pressure. When your actions align with your values, the mind becomes more stable because you are no longer constantly seeking validation. Authenticity also attracts the right opportunities and relationships. When you present yourself honestly, the people and circumstances that resonate with your true character naturally move closer. The 10th principle is trust in the natural order of life. Stoics believed that the universe follows a rational structure, even if humans cannot always understand it. This perspective encourages patience and humility. Not every outcome will unfold according to personal plans, yet setbacks often reveal opportunities that were invisible before. Trusting the process of life does not mean abandoning effort. It means combining effort with acceptance. You do your best with the resources available while understanding that outcomes may take forms you did not expect. When these 10 principles come together, something remarkable begins to happen. The mind becomes steadier. External events lose their ability to create chaos inside you. Challenges still appear, but they no longer feel overwhelming. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with clarity. Instead of fearing uncertainty, you approach it with curiosity. Instead of chasing constant approval, you rely on your own judgment. This is the kind of strength the Stoics believed was available to every person willing to train their mind. And perhaps the most powerful realization is this: the world does not need to change for you to experience peace, resilience, and confidence. Those qualities are developed internally through consistent practice. Every moment presents an opportunity to strengthen your perception, refine your responses, and live according to principles that have guided thoughtful people for centuries. When you begin applying these ideas in your own life, you may notice something surprising. The things that once seemed urgent or threatening begin to lose their intensity. Your attention shifts toward what truly matters, and gradually, almost without noticing, you become the kind of person who remains steady while others are shaken, calm while others panic, and focused while others are distracted. That quiet strength is the true legacy of Stoic philosophy, and it remains just as powerful today as it was in the ancient world. If this video helped you see life from a new perspective, subscribe to the channel and join thousands of others who are learning how to build a stronger mind through philosophy. And to seal this message in your mind, write this in the comments: I remain calm in every situation. Because the moment you begin training your mind this way, the world around you begins to change.